Welcome, I'm Kevin Keel, an OpenSciEd teacher and facilitator. Lesson 3 provides some powerful evidence for students that objects vibrate when they produce sound. However, at least for me, I struggled my first time through because the teacher demonstration can be a bit tricky. So I'll give you a brief overview of the lesson and then some tips to help it hopefully go a little bit smoother for you in your classroom. Remember in the last lesson, students played with musical instruments and explored the speaker a little bit more and figured out that they're vibrating when they produce sound. So that led to the wondering for this lesson. Does that mean that all objects vibrate when they produce sound? Even something rigid like my tabletop, is that vibrating when it's making a sound? So we're going to investigate that by kind of zooming in on the vibrations on our tabletop. There's both a problematizing moment and an investigation in this lesson. It's going to take 2 days, 10 minutes of prep, mostly for the teacher demonstration that you're going to do. There's no student devices required. And there's 2 videos, one of the setup for the demonstration that I would recommend watching, and then another one that's optional where you could record the demonstration. And we'll talk more about that later, but I would highly recommend doing that prior to the lesson so that during the lesson you can access a slow motion video of the demonstration. There's 3 chunks or components to this lesson. In parts 1 and 2, students are recognizing a need for a way to kind of zoom in to see if something like a tabletop is vibrating when it's producing a sound. So in part 1, they're going to recognize that their tabletop makes a sound, and then you're going to introduce them to the setup that you can use to try to see if the tabletop vibrates. And in part 2, you're going to use that setup in the demonstration. You're going to be using a laser and a mirror on the tabletop to try to then see if your tabletop is vibrating. So in part 2, you're doing the demonstration. In parts 3 and 4, students are then taking those observations to argue that all objects, even the tabletop, vibrates when they make a sound. And in part 3, they're going to argue from evidence about that individually. And then in part 4, you're just going to discuss it as a class. And then in the last chunk, day 2, students are going to then apply this to the speaker and figure out that when there's more vibrations, it produces a louder sound. So in part 5, you're going to apply that laser mirror setup to the speaker. And then in part 6, they're going to argue from evidence about its connection with vibration, force, and loudness. And then in part 7, you're going to discuss that as a class. So throughout the lesson, here's what we're figuring out. Day 1, all objects vibrate when they make a sound, even something like our tabletop that doesn't appear to us that it's vibrating. And part 2, that when there's more force applied and a greater vibration, it produces a louder sound. I want to highlight just a few parts. First, part 1, they're going to navigate in, reflecting back on the musical instruments in the speaker, how they saw them vibrate when they produce sound. And then you're going to drop a rock or something heavy, like I use a larger steel ball, or like a billiards ball would work too, on the tabletop. They're going to be able to hear it produce a sound, but they're not going to be able to see if the tabletop is vibrating. So we have this problematizing moment early on. How can we better see vibrations if they're occurring in the tabletop? Students will probably have different ideas, like do a slow motion recording, record it and see if you can zoom in on the recording. If you have time, go ahead and do those things. But even then, students aren't going to be able to see the vibrations. So here's where you're going to introduce this laser mirror apparatus that's going to allow us to detect even small vibrations with the laser. If the laser moves, then the thing is vibrating. So you're going to explain to students the setup with the laser mirror apparatus. And then you're going to give them a handout, and in part one of the handout, they're going to individually think through possible outcomes. What's going to happen to the laser when we drop an object by it? And it's worth taking time to do this at this point, because later on, students are going to use this as reasoning to support their ideas. In part two, then you're going to use the laser mirror apparatus to see if both the drum vibrates and the tabletop vibrates. And the drum's an easy thing to test first because students already know the drum vibrates. They can kind of feel it vibrating when they explored it in the previous lesson. So you're going to test the laser mirror apparatus with the drum hitting it first quietly, softly, and then hitting it more loudly. And they should easily be able to see the laser move up and down a little bit when you hit it quietly, and then they'll see the laser move more when you hit it with more force. And if it's hard to detect, it should be easy to see, but if it's hard, take a slow motion video or pre-record a slow motion video of the laser when you test the drum, and then watch that at this point. And then have students recording their observations on their handout. Then you're gonna do the real test, test the laser as it reflects off of the tabletop. And kind of like the drum, you're gonna use a small rock the first time and a larger rock the second time, and note any vibrations by seeing if the laser moves. And here's where you'll probably get kids arguing whether or not the laser moves. Some will say, yep, the laser moved, I saw it. Others will refute that. Here's where you'll probably need a slow motion video to settle the debate. And again, you could do this in class, but I would recommend pre-recording that so you can watch that and definitively show that the laser moves when the table is producing sound. And then part 5, you're going to test this same apparatus. This is now day 2. You're going to test this same apparatus on the speaker. And using the computer simulation that you're going to access, you'll play different sounds through the speaker, both soft, quiet sound and a loud sound, low pitch, high pitch. And then similar to what students did with the rock and the drum, have students recording their observations of how the laser moves when you're playing different sounds through the speaker. And some students will ask like, can we test a really high pitch, really loud sound? They'll have different suggestions. They'll probably even suggest playing music. Can we play a song through it? If you have time, run with it. Watch the laser go crazy. It's pretty cool. And students really get into it. Where do we go from here? Next, we want to better understand how a greater force makes an object vibrate more. So we're going to use a different, like what actually do we mean by vibrating more? Does it mean vibrates faster? Does it mean vibrates further? What does that mean? So we're going to use a different setup with a motion detector that's going to allow us to more closely observe the vibrations at an even different scale. Here's a few tips or tricks. First, watch the video, practice the laser setup. It's not that the setup itself is real complicated. It's just that in order to get the laser to shine off of the mirror that's on the object that you're testing, and then up to some kind of chart or whiteboard for your students to see it, it just requires them to be oriented correctly. So you're going to have to practice the setup prior to the lesson. Next, if you have a laser that has a little button on, you'll have to keep the laser on somehow, so either clamp or clothespin that. And then I would recommend drawing a reference line where the laser starts out at. That way students have something to compare the laser to if or when it moves. Also, like I said, you're going to need probably a slow motion recording of especially the demonstration testing the rock on the tabletop. I would recommend pre-recording that and then pulling that up during the lesson to show that even the tabletop is vibrating. And also when you're testing, especially the tabletop, I found if you drop the objects right next to the mirror, as close to the mirror as possible, you'll get better results on the laser. You'll be able to see it move a little bit better. And then when you try the laser mirror apparatus on the speaker, I think if I remember right, the teacher edition recommends putting the laser right or the mirror right in the middle of the speaker. I had better luck putting the mirror to the side of the speaker, like I show in the picture here. But then again, you gotta figure out how to orient these things because the mirror will be tilted a little bit, and you just gotta orient them correctly so again the students can see the laser on the board. Words that we encounter: loudness, words that are reinforced, reflect. Both of those can be added during the consensus discussion in part 7. And then there's no posters that you're going to make in this lesson, but you might want to bring in the model that you made from the previous lesson just to get kids thinking about what they saw with the musical instruments and the speaker as you navigate into this lesson. All right, so hopefully the setup works better for you than it did for me my first time around. Again, it gives powerful evidence that all things, even the tabletop, is vibrating when things produce sound. So hope it goes well for you. See you next time.